Namaste. I'm Carla, Yoga Palace, Marbella, Spain. One of the reasons I became a yoga teacher is because I have the opportunity to bring the awareness of my students into their body. And we are aiming for pain-free body. And as well, the connection with the free spirit. And we are all born free spirits. And but on the way, we start to lose it by all kinds of attachments from other people, and we start to get more and more distance from our free spirit. But there's so much peace and love and joy that we get when we are free about ourselves. So for me, yoga is everything, because we are aiming for freedom by having no pain in our body, and as well the freedom to be us, like we were born, free spirits. So in this video I will talk about how we start to lose it, and in another video I will talk about more how we can keep our free spirit. I am going to talk about the emotional scale again, and because it's so important for us to protect our kids when they are small, and we have everything to say about that when our kids are living with us. And it's the parents, to keep the frequency and the energy high in our homes. And I am not saying here anything that you don't already know, but sometimes we just need to be reminded. And I am a mother of 3 kids, and they are of course very important for me. And these videos are not something that I wanted to do yesterday. I have been thinking about this for many years, because this is really my passion. And I have a page here on Facebook that the name is Mission Impossible, because it's so difficult to find out and to reach the children in their homes, because that is private. One of the ground in yoga is no violence, and for me is I have always been very much against violence in any form, and emotional violence is so difficult to reach, especially behind closed doors in homes. And I would like to say also, because I have a voice like you, and we don't need to have been abused in any form, or have been through a lot of violence, or raped or attacked, even though we want to talk about these things. We are human, and we can keep our spirit happy even though we are talking about these things. Yes, so in this video I am going to talk about the 5 emotions that have the lowest energy, that have the absolute lowest frequency. And that is for people to realize how easy it is to control other people's feelings, and the children. It comes if they are raised up by a person who is putting on them, who is keeping their energy low all the time. It gets like normal, and the child never gets to keep their free spirit. Some people want and they like to control feeling of others, of their kids or wife or husband or the person that they are living with, the family members, and they know exactly what they're doing, and these are psychopaths of course, but some people don't realize what they are doing, and they can change so easily, and this is why I want to do this video and talk about these 5 emotions that have the lowest energy. So if you are a person, or you know a person who is using this, it's so easy to fix it. So it's very important to know where the joy, the love and happiness starts. The peace starts at home, in your home, for your child. And the 5 emotions in the emotional scale with the lowest frequency and energy are shame, guilt, apathy, grief, and fear. And I am going to talk about them in this video. Shame is a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. For example, if a person is repeating after a child or another person in a very negative way, it's a pure humiliation, and the child feels humiliated and embarrassed. And I am not talking about 1 time or 3 times or whatever. I'm talking about if it becomes a habit. So mortification is the lowest feeling that is possible to have in the emotional scale, with the lowest frequency. And mortification is a great embarrassment and shame. So what is really going on when a person wants to or is controlling the feelings of the children or other family members? They take away all the dignity, and everything starts to be very uncomfortable. And in the end, the child stops to talk and express themselves because they feel like they're always failing, and they will be humiliated anyway, so they think it's better just to be quiet. And the person that is controlling the feelings of their family members let them feel embarrassed by everything they do. What they say, how they say it, how they talk, how they move, how they walk, how they eat, and every behavior is not improved. It is just shameful. Okay, and then there is a feeling of guilt, and the energy and the frequency of to be guilty is very, very low. And a person who wants to control the feelings of the other family members tries to make them feel guilty all the time, sorry all the time for everything that they are doing, and the person is blaming the child and the other family members for everything that goes on, everything wrong that goes on, and even the abuser feelings and behavior is the child to blame. is just a horrible thing to do. And also if the child want to express themselves, they don't even bother to answer, and everything that they have to say is not accountable, and it's never a reason yeah, there's nothing that they are saying or doing that is liable. So yeah, guilt is a horrible feeling to carry on the shoulder, especially when you are a child, because what has a child done to be guilty for? And then there is apathy, and a person who wants to control the feelings of others with apathy, with the energy of apathy, is always finding some negative of everything that the other person is saying or doing, and the person doesn't show interest in anything, in homework or what the hobbies or whatever the other person likes to do, and the person is unconcerned by everything, and just not interested in anything that the child is doing, and has no passion for anything that involves the child or the other person, and apathy is it's the energy of it is like cold energy, yes, and it's like the person that wants to control and keep the energy low is always like bored around the child or the other person. And grief, it's a feeling with a very, very low energy. And maybe that is the most like sensitive feeling to talk about, that has this low energy. And I am not talking about when you are grieving a loss of someone that has died, or you are going through a very difficult times, divorce or something like that. That is normal to grieve, and normally to grieve something takes like 2 years, and after that we start to be able to live with that pain in our heart, but more or less after 2 years the time heals a little bit. And I am not talking about that. I'm talking about when the person that wants to control a child or a family member with the energy of grief. And that can be when you want to remind the child of something that it did maybe many years ago, and it should be grieving about it. And also if you allow yourself to be always sad, okay, I'm trying to be very careful talking about this because this is sensitive. But if we are grieving something and or someone, and we allow ourselves to be sad all the time, and the children and the other family members are feeling always the pain and the suffering and the heartbreak, and they start to be like misery and so intense sorrow that it's keeping the energy and the frequency low all the time, day after day, year after year, and by doing that we are keeping the frequency of our home so very low. So this is maybe something that we can think about. Okay, and the last one of these 5 emotions that I wanted to talk about in this video is fear. And a person who is controlling a child or another family member with fear is creating so much stress in other family members. And we all know that all illnesses, 90% more or less of illnesses are created by stress. And the other family members have this panic inside all the time. And I also want to say these emotions, these 5 lowest emotions, we can be our worst enemies. So we need to think about, am I creating this state of frequency, the state of energy by myself, to myself? So that is one thing that we can also really think about. And just a short input about the fear. If we are fearful all the time, we can learn to take control of that. And like I've always said, the strongest tool is to meditate. And through meditation we can learn to balance, we can learn to go higher and higher in the emotional scale. And as parents, if we practice yoga and if we meditate, we get more awareness of our state of mind and how we want to have the energy in our homes. So keep on practicing, find a way to meditate, and have courage and be kind. Namaste.